Nakwambia Mungu akompiana hata wild animals are better because they don't eat their kids when they give birth. Wild animals, so I think they are beasts, and that is it. They don't think twice. They're heartless.
Rampant abortion, I think it's something to be encouraged.
Mse ana dilutio homo, anachukua vijiti za kifagio.
Na mi stand yangu ya abortion, as in mi naitikia.
Mi na believe mtoi ni stress tu saa zenye hujampata.
Why should you wait to get pregnant for you to undergo an abortion?
Okay, my name is Rachel Ayeko. Okay, to start with, Minta kinda supports abortion. Okay, one, unapata, okay, mse anachali, and then maybe unajua how relationship starts and the way chicks are enticed. Okay, simaanishe that chicks are cheap, but because of that love, una find that you give in. And the moment you give in, unapata because of not choosing nini hizo ma condoms, yeah, mtu ana end up kukua pregnant. Then after that, this guy anakata the responsibility, and for you are not even financially stable. You end up deciding aborting rather than taking care of this child. One, ukiangalia ku take care of this child, utangalia vitu mob, because maybe ukulelewa in a way that maybe ulipitia life hard, and then unatry to imagine this child anapitia life hard.
Carol had a tough choice to make, either taking her life or taking the life of her child in order to continue with her life. She viewed a program that we had done previously on abortion, and she called GPS. And through that, she made contact with TALF. When she wanted to commit suicide, fortunately, TALF called her. When Kanana called Carol, she was on the verge of giving up and losing hope in life. She didn't know where else to turn to, and TALF took her in and gave her hope. What kind of hope did TALF give Carol?
Ningetaka utuelezea vile ulijua kuhusu hiki kipindi na nini imekuleta leo.
Kipindi ni kuanga na watch GBS. Mama mingine hapo hivyo. Sasa nikachukua namba.
Uliona kipindi ukapiga simu kwa sababu ulikuwa unataka usaidizi ama?
Yaani nilikuanga nimetoka Meru. Ni mtu alikuwa amenileta huku Nairobi kikazi. Kikazi ya nyumbani. Sasa nilikuja huku, nilikuwa mgeni, yani sikuwa najua Nairobi vizuri. Nikapata nilikuanga nimefanya 3 months kwa huyo mama kazi. Nikapata na huyo kijana tu mmoja, akaniambia, tukaanza urafiki hivi, akaniambia nataka kunioa. Mimi nilikuwa mjinga, nikakubali haraka. Sasa akaniambia niachane na kazi niende nikaishi kwake. Sasa venye nilienda kuishi kwake, tukakaa na yeye for 2 months, nikapatanga hiyo mimba. Sasa venye nilimwambia akaanza madharau, kunitusi. Sasa siku moja akanituma kwa duka, akaniambia niende ninunue vitu zingine, na duka ni mbali venye nitapata amehamisha kila kitu haraka. Sasa mimi nikaenda kwa duka, kurudi nikapata ameshanitupia vitu nje. Sikuwa najua Nairobi kabisa, na sikuwa na mahali pa kwenda. Sina relative wetu huku. Sasa tu nikachukua bagi yangu mimi nikaenda. Sasa wiki moja nilikuanga nalala nje. Sasa dono kuna railways hapo. Inaweza fikisha mtu town. Sasa hiyo nilikuwa nafuata. Sasa siku moja nikapatana na vijana Waine walikuwa nataka kunirepu. Bahati mzuri mapolisi wakatokea hapo, walikuanga wanakimbishana na wezi, wakaanza kulipua mabunduki na wakatoroka. Mimi tu naendelea na safari juu sina mahali pengine pa kuenda. Saa kesho yake ndio nilipatananga na vijana watatu. Saa wakaniambia either waniue ama wanirepu. Saa mimi nikawaambia hakuna haja mniue tu, fanyeni venye mnataka. Mmoja tu akanirepu. Mimi sikuwa na mahali pa kuenda, hata sijaienda hospitali.
Ulikuwa miezi ngapi?
Nilikuanga na miezi 4.
Miezi 4. Kwa hivyo alikunyajisi kama uko na miezi 4. Katika hiyo hali na hiyo wakati ulihisi nini?
Nilisikia uchungu juu hata yenye naongeanga si hivyo, walikuanga wameninyonga. Mmoja sasa venye alituanga kisu anataka kuniua ili nisiseme chochote. Mmoja akamwambia hakuna haja, mwachilie tu aende.
Carol came to us through GBS. She was also watching GBS one day, and she saw that number flashing, and because she was in that situation, she called GBS, and GBS called TALF. So Carol was working came to Meru through somebody who had gotten a house girl job in Nairobi. But then a month or 2 later, she met this boy who said he wanted to marry her. And so she went and started living with him. And a month or 2 later, she found out she's pregnant. And what he did is he asked her to go to a shop and buy something. And when she came back, after a few minutes, everything of hers had been thrown out. And he had disappeared. He had gone and switched off his phone. So Carol ended up on the streets. She told me that she should walk from along the railway from Donholm, on the side of Donholm. And a few times she was actually, the first day, she was telling her this the first night, she was actually almost raped by a gang of three men. But lucky for her, there were some policemen that were passing by and they heard her scream, and they shot in the air, and luckily she wasn't raped. But then again, a gang came to her and one of them actually raped her before somebody showed up and they ran off.
Ukikaa chini ufikirie hiyo muda vile ulikuja Nairobi, hujui mtu yote, ukaamini huyu mtu atakuoa akakuachilia. Katika hiyo muda ni maswali gani ulikuwa unajiuliza?
Nimejiuliza maswali mengi sana. Sina mahali pa kuenda, sina pesa yoyote. Naona tu afadhali nikunywe dawa nikufe.
Katika hiyo hali ya kufikiria kujua, ulikuwa unafikiria kuhusu nini kuhusu mtoto wako?
Sasa hiyo juu hiyo, uchungu nilikuwa nimepitia. Singeweza hata kufikiria maneno ya mtoto. Yani nilikuwa na uchungu mingi sana mpaka singefikiria ya mtoto.
Na kutoka hapo nini ilifanyika?
Kutoka hapo tulipatananga tu na msichana mmoja. Huyo msichana naye nikamwelezea story yangu. Ni Mwembu, anaongea lugha kama yangu lakini si iko tofauti. Sasa akaniambia kuna mama anataka mfanyikazi na vyenye nitafanya, akaniambia mimba yangu ni kidogo sana, naweza toa. Sasa vyenye nitafanya, wakaongea na huyo mama vyenye nitaenda nifanye kazi, aniongeze pesa niende nitoe mimba alafu niendelee na kazi. Sasa vyenye nilienda kwa huyo mama naye tukakaa naye, Mwezi mmoja ikaisha, nikamwitisha mshahara, akaniambia si niliambiwa na Stella yani tumeongea naye utoe mimba uendelee na kazi. Sasa mimi nikamwambia hakuna haja nitoe. Sasa akaniambia usijui waliongeaje na yeye. Mimi nikakaa wiki zingine 3 nikaendelea tu na kazi, lakini ya mama alikuwa ananitesa sana. Hakuna chakula, naamka saa 11 kufanya kazi, kuchota maji. Kwa siku nilikuwa nachota mitungi 25. Sasa siku moja kaa nimebeba mtungi nikaanguka kwa stairs. Nilianguka kwa hata saa hii saindi moja inaniuma hata saa hii. Sasa venye nilianguka kwenda kumwambia, aliniambia mimi nilikwambia ingekuwa ulitoa hiyo mimba sasa hii ingekuwa inakusumbua, ungekuwa tu unafanya kazi kama wengine. Sasa akaniambia njoo ulikataa venye nilikwambia utoe, utachukua vitu zako uende. Sasa hii sina pesa. Akanipea 500. Akaniambia wewe chukua vitu zako uende. Sasa nilikuwa saa 11 jioni, nikachukua nikaenda tu. Sasa kufika town kuna msichana anaitwa Kanana ndiye nilipigia simu, lakini simu yangu ilikuwa imeharibika. Najaribu kumpigia ingii. Sasa nikapatana na mzee mmoja, nikamuuliza sasa ni wapi mtu anaweza enda hata tu alale tu hivyo. Akaniambia kuna nyumba imeshikana na mbaa, ni room tu, hata hakukuwa na kitanda yoyote. Nilikaa tu chini mpaka asubuhi. Sasa ndio huyo msichana anaitwa Kanana aliniambia usiku mimi nilikuanga nimenunua dawa, nilikuanga natembea nayo ikiwa kwa bagi yangu. Mali nitafika mwisho ndio nitakunywa nikufe. Sasa hiyo dawa nilikuanga nimenunua soda, nikaeka tu saa ile naenda kukunywa hivi. Roho moja ikaniambia nisikunywe. Nikaacha kukunywa. Sasa venye ilifika asubuhi huyo msichana akanipigia, akaniambia usijiue maisha yako itabadilika.
Umesema ulipata simu ya Kanana. Na alikuwa anajaribu kukupigia mara kadhaa na hakuwa anaweza. Hata kabla tuongea kuhusu hiyo simu ya Kanana, ningetaka uelezee nini ilifanya usitoe hiyo mimba saa zile ule mama alikwambia utoe ndio endelee na kazi. Nini ilifanya usitoe?
Mimi kuna siku nilikuanga nimeota kukiwa na mazishi kwetu. Sasa nikaota kama mara 2. Nikaona naweza enda nitoe nikufe.
Okay.
Juu hata kuna kasini yangu alikuanga ametoa akakufa. Nikaona tu hakuna haja ya kutoa.
Kwa hivyo hata ikuwa ulikuwa nafikiria kujitoa uhai, bado ulikuwa unaogopa kufa?
Bado nilikuwa naogopa kufa.
Si ati ni hivyo ulikuwa unataka. Kwa hivyo hata kubeba dawa ulikuwa unabeba kwa sababu uko unajua ni aje?
Hapana, si hivyo. Juu nimejaribu kukunywa mara moja. Ikani affect tu kidogo, nikaanzanga kutapika damu. Ikaisha tu hivyo.
Ulikataa kutoa mimba kwa sababu ulikuwa unahisi unaweza kufa?
Hapana, yani ni roho ilikuwa inanikujia tu. Nilikuwa nimeamua kutoa, si uongo. Na kuna chemist ingine iko huko Githurai, tukaenda tukaongea naye. Akanionyesha zile vitu mtu anaikangwa atoe. Nikamwambia hapana.
Na ule kijana ulikuwa nafikiria angekupatia mapenzi na yeye amekukataa?
Na alifunga simu kitambo sana. Na nikasahau na yeye. Mimi najiblame. Ndio alifanya hata nitoke kazi, niteseke hivi vyote juu yake.
Na wazazi wako wako wapi?
Wazazi wangu ni mmoja tu, ni mama yangu, na yeye hakuangi na kichwa mzuri. Tanjuzi nimempigia simu nikamwambia nakuja. Akaniambia usikuje, tukaa huko, njoo ukikuja nimekupangia kukuua. Sasa mimi nashindwa nitafanya nini? Mama yangu alinikataa, aliniambia kama ni hivyo nilienda kufanya Nairobi, hakuna haja nirudi nyumbani. Sana mimi sasa nalea mtoto mwenye ana baba. Kwetu tu si ati mama yangu ako na pesa, tuko tu hivyo. Nasikia tu uchungu sana.
My husband was watching TV at night and he came across GBS. And GBS, there was this program about this certain girl who had procured an abortion because she was pushed into it by the husband, and she ran away at some point. And you know, she was talking about the effects, the after effects of abortion. And there was a number that was flashing at the bottom. And my husband called me. I was in the kitchen and I ran and I was like, oh, I have to call this number. So I called the number and I told them, well, I'm not a millionaire, but I would like to help. This is an issue that has come into my heart lately, and I'd like to be of help. And so that's through that TALF was born. GBS. I met the people of GBS and they told me how many cases that there are.
Ungerudisha masaa na nyuma, nini ungefanya tofauti?
Ningeomba tu Mungu anipe moyo wa kuendelea na maisha. Njoo ingekuwa si kuongeleshwa, ingekuwa nimejiua kitambo sana. Roho yangu tu naonanga sina nyuma wala mbele. Nasikianga tu kujiua.
Hebu nielezee zaidi kuhusu hiyo. Vile unahisi una mbele wala nyuma?
Nahisi tu vibaya. Nahisi tu uchungu sana. Mama yangu alinikataa, aliniambia kama ni hivyo nilienda kufanya Nairobi, hakuna haja nirudi nyumbani. Sana mimi sasa nalea mtoto mwenye ana baba. Kwetu tu si ati mama yangu ako na pesa, tuko tu hivyo. Nasikia tu uchungu sana. Pata wakati huko nje wenyewe alinidanganya.
Angekuwa hapo ungemwambia nini?
Hata singetaka kumuona. Amefanya nipitie vitu mingi sana. Sami sasa nalea mtoto mwenye ana baba. Na si vizuri. Na sina uwezo wote wa kulea huyo mtoto.
God sent just found her standing somewhere looking stranded, and she asked him where, an old man, she asked him where she can get shelter for the night, and he showed her a place, a certain place near Muthurwa. So that's where she spent the night. But then during the night, I kept trying to call her. You know, her phone wasn't going through her phone. But then at around 10 o'clock, I finally got to her. And the first thing she told me is that she wants to commit suicide. Apparently, she had bought roachkill and she wanted to take it and just die because she had given up. And she had been through so much. But then I talked to her and I told her to just, you know, she's gone through so much. I understand and I cannot imagine how it feels. But I told her to just hold on for that one night for me to be able to meet her the next day. Because I knew the next day would be the day her life changes for better. I was for certain. So that's what she did. And I thank God because the next day, we called her again at around 10, 11ish in the morning. And since my mother is always the first person in town in the family, she actually quickly rushed. We told Carol to stay put wherever she was, and we explained to my mother, and my mother rushed and got her. And the minute she was safe in my mother's hands, Talf now rushed to get her. So after picking her from my mother, we had already organized for a doctor's appointment at Kenyatta Hospital. So that's the first place where we rushed her because she was complaining. She had fallen and we were worried about the baby. We wanted to know if the baby is safe and even if she's, safe or injured in any way. And so that's what happened. And the doctor checked her, and fortunately the baby had not been injured. The baby was safe and sound.
Kwanza kuna hilo umesema mamako alisema hakuna haja urudi kwa sababu ya vile ulikuja kufanya huko. Ni nini alikuwa anasema kwa hakika ulikuja kufanya Nairobi? Alikuambia aje maneno yake?
Anajua mama yangu, anajuanga nilienda kazi. Sasa akisikia maneno mengine ati sijui niko na mimba. Sasa akili naruka kabisa, anaanza kuongea vitu hazifai, lakini sikupenda kwake.
Vitu kama?
Aliniambia nyemi nisirundi huko ati hata nikatakata.
Abortion can never be forgotten. Abortion is killing. And killing, even if you did it 10 times, you'd never forget. Ever. Even for one instant, you'd never forget how many times, or the days, or how that day was, the day that you went even for those 10 or 20 abortions. You'd never forget.
Okay, naitwa Purity Kamau from Kangemi. Okay, for me, abortion, I think I don't support it, yani kabisa, because I think sometimes it's unhealthy to someone's health. Kinye happen unaweza dai ukifanya abortion. To some extent kuna mtu hufanya abortion. Futurely unaweza kosa mtoi. Things like that.
Because kuna watu wame lose life zao, watu wana madegree, lakini haizi get mtoi. Why? Kwa sababu in one way or the other, back then alislide na ikakuwa that's it. Either ana uterus ama haizi conceive.
So we don't want to go tell them let now go out and have another, because that means it's an addition of the problem. Sin is God looks at sin as sin. So whether you have murdered or you have done, we are all sinners.
And in such a situation, what I feel should be done, we should now consult God. Eventually, what does the Word of God say, right? Eventually, what is the heart of God about these things, But now, because people don't live with the heart of God, they just know God in theories. They don't really practically, day to day, they don't relate their problems to God, I'd rather, say, God, fine, they don't want my baby, but, I know you want the baby because, God actually is behind everything,
Let's embrace them, let's work with them, let's understand where they're coming from. Because you find very strong women when you work with them, after they have had an abortion or after they have even given birth to babies who they didn't intend to give birth. Then we talk about now the bit of family planning. We are not talking about abortion in terms of girls. There are also women, old women like me and others, married and they get pregnant. They didn't intend to get pregnant and they get pregnant and they say, I'm going to abort this baby. And they go ahead and abort the baby. So the issue is not only, I think it's a woman issue. So let's also embrace family planning as for married women. Let's embrace family planning so that we do not get unwanted pregnancies.
Emotional effects. There's the guilt, the anger, the grief, the regrets. It even breaks relationships. It's actually known to be, most women who go through abortion, even if they leave this one relationship and go into another, they have trust issues. They have sexual, issues. So it affects their relationships. If they get children, they become either overly protective of these children, or they completely neglect these children because of that traumatic event. There's also the health repercussions. There's women who actually get cervical, even it is also known to be a contributor of cervical cancer, even ovarian cancer. And also women who get perforated uteruses, they can actually, some of them, it leads to hysterectomy, where the entire cervix is, womb is removed and they can never have children again. Some actually, it also means that even in later, because most of them are young girls, in later years when they're pregnant again, it leads to miscarriages. Early, the children are born early and some of them can't survive. And so it's a number one cause of trauma in women.
When you're ready to have a child because you have stopped taking the family planning. But you don't have to get pregnant and then kill that innocent human being, and yet there are services that they're being offered free of charge. So personally, I don't advocate for abortion unless under medical conditions, which have been laid down by the government.
Ujapata mtu amekutunza na hiyo upendo, akakuja akakuchukua na akakuonesha kuna binadamu wanakujali.
Nilisikia afadhali juu yenyewe nikuanga yani nikata naumwa tu sana, hata siwezi tembea. Ile uchungu nilikuwa nayo, lakini venye nilienda huko alinipea tu moyo wa kuishi tena.
So we thought the best place for her to be was in our home, and so we took her to our home, where we could at least monitor her and at least encourage her, let her know that she's a human being just like any of us, that although she had been hurt by so many of our fellow human beings, not all of us are bad, and not that she's any less compared to any of us. We are all God's children after all.
It is through initiatives like Transform a Life Foundation that help in saving innocent lives. Despite this foundation being new with no funds yet, this had not deterred the founders from going against all odds and doing the unthinkable. It is therefore important for people to come out and support organizations such as Transform a Life Foundation.
I would like to appeal to my brothers and sisters out there to know that even as we take Carol to Kyoto tomorrow, it is not a journey that ends there. It is just a beginning, because it means that this girl will need finances for delivery of her baby, safe delivery of her baby. We will also need to, help her even after the delivery, because it doesn't end there. We would like to appeal to anybody who is able to give whatever, anything that they can give to help in her finances.
Well, today the journey for Carol to go to Murang'a has just begun, and it will be a long journey. But the good thing is that she is in safe hands, and hopefully, as we heard from the TALF director, that although the burden is still bigger on their shoulders, but we hope that well wishers will help Carol in the endeavor to get a safe home and a good and a safe delivery. Well, we hope that as she begins her journey to go to Murang'a, that everything will be well. We joined Anne Kanana, the executive director of the Transform a Life Foundation, who took Carol to a Kyoto in Murang'a. The girls in there were happy to have a new member, and Carol too was happy. The executive director of Transform a Life Foundation, Anne Kanana, is therefore urging anyone who can partner with her organization for the great work that she is doing. Like in this case, Carol needs money for taking care of her pregnancy, and also Anne said she will have to start a business for her after giving birth so that she can be able to take care of her child. One of the goals that the Transform a Life Foundation is aiming is to open a safe house, which will be used to empower girls and women who are in similar situations.
Can I smile?
Well, we are finally here at the Kyoto, and what I'm holding in my hand is a 6-day-old baby, baby girl in that matter, called Hadassah. Well, quite a cute name, and with me here are the girls who are taking shelter in this place. Indeed, a blessed ministry this is, and the work that is being done in this place to bring these girls together and save these beautiful lives. And just holding the baby in my hand feels so good that indeed what these people are doing by putting these girls in this Kyoto is indeed a lifesaver. And Kanana here doesn't seem to be is so excited, and she wants to hold the baby.
Oh. Cute. Oh my gosh.
What can you say about your vision for TALF and what you guys intend to do, and what drives you when you see this kind of a baby saved in this kind of a situation?
How can anyone want to throw this away? And you know what? TALF started with us saying that if we save 1 or 2 of these lives is enough. But I'm thinking we need to save millions, billions of these in Africa, because really they are people, and beautiful people. They're not just a thing and it. No, they're people. Sure. Even in their mama's tummy, they're still beautiful people, human beings. You know, when you remove them, when you flash, like it's called, it's not just flashing, it's actually killing. But killing, it's a death of a person, but without a death certificate. Part of our dream, to have a place where girls can come and take shelter, to have a place where little angels like this can be saved, not just to tell somebody, I'll pray for you. No, to be action oriented.
Sure.
Yes, and to have a place where they can come and feel like human beings also. These girls, they've made mistakes, yes, but they're human beings.
I must say that we are very, very grateful to God Almighty for the great work that has been taking effect in this Kyoto. More so, this being a pilot project, we have seen what God can do. We have really saved life, and we thank God because we are on this mission and we are not stopping, despite the great and the many challenges that have been there and that are ahead of us. And I must particularly take this moment to thank the Transformation Life for the great support that you people has come to show to us.
Most of the time is when we judge these young girls when they get pregnant and abort, or we lose them in the process. But the emotional upheaval that happens in their heads during that time is overwhelming. Carol had reached the end of her road until TALF took over. Let's be that instrument of hope for girls who have lost hope, to know that they have a place they can rely or they can fall back on. TALF is one of those organizations where they take care of such girls. They do proactive action. Before the girl contemplates of the abortion, they are trying to stop this and giving the girl the emotional support that they need to know that they are strong enough to move forward. Before you take that move to abort, know that as much as you have reached the end of your road and it seems like the solution, know that you will have consequences to deal with. You might never give birth again. You will always think about that child that you got rid of. In order to avoid this, please pick up the phone and do what Carol did. Make a phone call. That phone call could be the turning point for you.
Right now, TALF is a new NGO. It's not a foundation that has got any kind of funds at the moment or any kind of funding. So I'm appealing to my brothers and sisters out there that anything you can give, nothing is too little to save these 2 lives. Nothing will not be appreciated. We shall appreciate every single help that we can get, because Carol is 8 months pregnant. She doesn't have a place to live. Where she comes from, her mother is mentally ill, so she'll not get any kind of help there. We want to take her to a Kiota, which is Dr. Kagia's initiative, to take her there where she can get a place to live. But Carol will need a lot of help financially, especially for the delivery of the baby. And even after the delivery of the baby, because the journey doesn't end there. Help us to walk this journey with Carol. Help us to save these 2 lives. And you can send any kind of help to the number at the bottom of the screen. And you can also make any inquiries on the website.
You know of a girl who is pregnant and you don't know where to take her. Pick up that phone call and be the support that she needs. Don't stand on the fence pointing a finger of saying how promiscuous this girl is, or if she didn't go ahead and do this, she wouldn't have gotten pregnant. Know that each child deserves to live. And the moment you do that, you do not know how much emotional guilt that this particular girl is carrying during that process. Please help them to come out of that trap. Thank you.
Well, today's story was quite interesting and also inspiring. What we'd like to tell our viewers is this: do you support abortion or not? If you have any comments, suggestions or opinion, you can send us an email on familymatters@gbskenya.com, or you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and also you can get to watch this episode on YouTube. Till next time, thank you very much for joining us. My name is Timothy Omondi. God bless you.